The alarm hit before I even opened my eyes. Red light, sharp and pulsing. My name is Daniel Hart, communications officer aboard the vessel we called Old Widow, and the first thing I heard that morning was my own heartbeat trying to outrun the siren. Contact detected, unknown fleet bearing 042. I rolled out of my bunk and hit the corridor at a run. My boots slapped the metal floor as I passed sealed hatches and blinking status panels. Around me, the ship groaned the way it always did, a deep, tired sound, like something enormous stretching after a long sleep. Old Widow was not built to look friendly. She was built from scavenged hulls, patched armor plates, and drive cores nobody fully trusted anymore. She looked like she had survived 100 wars, because in a way, she had survived the idea of them, built during years when we did not know what was waiting out in the dark, so we built her ready for anything. I reached the bridge and dropped into my station. Captain Alina Brooks stood at the center, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the main screen. She did not look afraid. She never did. "Report," she said. "Fleet of 12 ships, unknown design, closing fast," said our navigator, a quiet young man named Oliver Vance. His hands moved fast over the controls, but his voice stayed steady. "They are not firing, but they are not slowing down either." "First contact," Alina said. She said it plainly, like she was reading a grocery list, not the biggest moment in human history. I swallowed hard and opened every channel we had. Old Widow was meant to be a diplomatic ship. That still made some of us laugh, considering what she actually looked like. We were the ones chosen for this mission not because we had the finest ship in the fleet, but because we had the only ship ready to fly on such short notice. Nobody expected first contact to happen this soon, and nobody expected it to happen with a ship that resembled a graveyard stitched together with steel. The alien fleet slowed at the edge of scanner range. 12 sleek vessels, silver and smooth, curved like polished stones. Beautiful, honestly, nothing like us. Then their transmissions started coming through, and the tone of their voices told me everything before the translator even caught up. They were afraid. "Unknown vessel," said a voice, cold and controlled but shaking underneath. "You are not responding to any known configuration in our records. State your intention." Alina tapped the comm switch. "This is Captain Alina Brooks of the Earth vessel Old Widow. We come in peace. We are here to establish contact, nothing more." There was a long pause, long enough that I began to worry the silence itself was a decision being made against us. "Your ship," the voice said slowly, "resembles a Predator-class bioconstruct from ancient records. Explain your design." I looked at Oliver, he looked at me. Neither of us knew what to say because to us, Old Widow was just home. She was old pipes and creaking joints and blankets pinned over broken heating vents. She was not a monster. She was ours. "She's a survival ship," Alina answered. "Built to endure, not built to attack." Another pause. Then something happened that I will never forget. Every one of their 12 ships pulled back several kilometers at once, like a single body flinching. "Their scanners are reading our hull plating as living tissue," said our engineer, a sharp woman named Grace Whitfield, watching data scroll past her screen. "They think we regenerate. They think we are some kind of creature." "We do repair fast," Oliver muttered. "The self-sealing alloy does look like skin under a scan." "They also flagged our stasis pods," Grace added. "The pods scan like cocoons. To them, it might look like this ship is carrying something that is about to hatch." I felt the tension rise in the room, thick enough to touch. This was not going the way any of us imagined. We came to greet a new civilization, and within minutes, they were treating our home like a nightmare-given metal skin. "Explain your crew count," the alien voice demanded. Firmer this time, though the fear had not left it. 43, Alina said. "All human, all alive, all peaceful." "Peaceful vessels do not carry your ship's mass in weapon systems." That line hit harder than I expected. We had forgotten, somewhere along the way, just how much old weaponry Old Widow still carried in her bones. Decommissioned cannons, reserve missile racks, systems built during years of uncertainty, most of them dormant, most of them simply left there because removing them cost more than leaving them alone. Alina did not flinch. Old defenses, she said, left over from a difficult time in our history, not active, not aimed at anyone. Silence stretched again. The alien fleet held its distance, weapons ready but not firing, as if waiting for one wrong move to justify the fear rippling through their formation. Grace leaned toward me and whispered, "If they open fire first, we won't even need to fight back. This old girl could probably shrug off a full volley and keep going." I did not find comfort in that thought. I found dread in it. "Captain," Oliver said suddenly, voice tight, "one of their ships just launched a probe toward us. Small, unarmed, likely scanning equipment." "Let it come," Alina said. "Do not touch it, do not move toward it." The probe drifted closer, spinning gently, lights blinking along its hull. On our screen, I watched Old Widow's outer plating shift slightly, adjusting temperature to the changing exposure of open space, the same way it always did. But to their sensors, it must have looked like breathing. "Your vessel just moved," the alien voice said, panic breaking through for the first time. "Explain the movement." "Thermal adjustment," Alina answered simply. "It's just the hull reacting to temperature, nothing more." I could hear something in the background of their channel, other voices, rapid and overlapping, clearly arguing among themselves. My hands were shaking slightly over my console, waiting for the moment that could turn this from tense standoff into disaster. Then something happened that changed everything. Alina reached for the comm control and did something none of us expected. She laughed. Not loudly, not mockingly, just a short, warm laugh, the kind you would use when a nervous new neighbor thought your old dog was a wolf. "I understand why this looks frightening," she said, her voice gentle now. "Our ship is old and strange-looking even to us sometimes, but I promise you there is nothing hiding inside her waiting to attack you. We built her to survive back when we were young and scared and alone in the universe. She is not a threat. She is a memory of how careful we used to be." There was a pause, longer than any before it. Then the alien voice returned, quieter, less guarded. "You speak of her as if she is alive." "In a way," Alina said. "She has kept every one of us safe for years. That earned some respect." Another pause. Then, unexpectedly, something in their tone shifted. The fear did not vanish, but the tight edge of it softened. "We have never encountered a species that built survival into the very shape of their ships," the voice said. "Our vessels are made for elegance. Yours is made to endure." "That's a good way to put it," Alina said. A long quiet followed, but it did not feel dangerous anymore. It felt like the space right before understanding settles in. "We propose a meeting," the alien voice finally said. "A smaller vessel to your smaller shuttle, neutral distance, no weapons." "Agreed," Alina said. I let out a breath I did not know I had been holding. Around the bridge, shoulders dropped just slightly, the tension breaking like a held note finally resolving. Hours later, after a shuttle exchange and careful, calm conversation between our small team and theirs, the truth of the moment settled over all of us. They were not cruel. They were not planning an attack. They were simply cautious, shaped by their own long history of danger, just as we had been shaped by ours. But the story of that first meeting spread fast, far faster than we expected. Word moved from their fleet to their outposts, then outward to other systems we did not even know existed yet. And in every retelling, one detail stayed the same. Humanity's first ship into the wider galaxy did not look like a diplomat. It looked like a monster that had learned to speak softly. Back on the bridge, days after the tension had faded, I stood near the viewport and watched the stars slide past. Grace walked up beside me, arms crossed, a small smile on her face. You know they're calling her something new now, she said. Word from their outposts. They named her the Floating Terror. I almost laughed. That's not exactly the friendliest nickname. No, Grace said, but have you noticed how they say it? Not with hate, with respect. Like they're talking about something ancient and careful, not something cruel. I looked back out at the stars, at the quiet dark stretching endlessly around us, and thought about how strange it was that our oldest fears had built the very thing that carried us safely into first contact. Old Widow drifted on, patched and scarred and steady, carrying all of us forward into a galaxy that now watched humanity a little more carefully, not because we had shown strength through violence, but because we had shown strength through simply refusing to break. And somewhere far ahead of us, among stars we had not yet reached, word of a ship called the Floating Terror continued to travel, becoming less of a warning and more of a quiet kind of legend.